Good evening out there, Worlds Collide racing fans. I am 23 Bits and Coins in the booth uh, right now by the Schwann's 27, and we're here to watch some Kefka Grand Prix Deluxe action. The track today is the Phantom Forest Railway. It's very spooky. There's a lot of ghosts, so the kind of bullet points here, and then I'll let Schwann's kind of give some commentary on this, is we need 7 characters and 10 espers to unlock the final fight with Kefka. We can skip most of the final dungeon, Kefka's Tower, by fighting 12 bosses and beating the Phantom Train spot. We will be starting with Cyan and 2 random characters. Steals and drops are shuffled plus 20% random, so even bosses will be dropping not what they usually do. We'll see if this plays out. Bum Rush is not last in terms of Blitz learning, so a Blitz user can learn Bum Rush earlier and we don't have to do the cutscene thing to learn it. Our scaling, or how much the opponents level up as we progress, is 2.5 times characters, espers, and dragons up to 45. So things get harder faster than I guess our league racing flag set. Couple other things: no natural magic. Espers more expensive to summon. Oh yeah, magic also, our top spells, they're gone. No tier 3 spells, no flare, no Merton, no cure 3, no life 2, no life 3. Basically all the good stuff. Stop is out of there.
Ultima, X-Zone, Pearl. All these. Huge nerf to magic.
Big nerf. It'll still be useful early, like tier 2 magic will still get the job done, but we're gonna either have to specifically build someone with magic power boosting stuff to really be able to do end game damage. Hit stuff builds tend to be better because we'll be at higher levels due to the scaling. The shops, there's no rods. We can find super balls. They cost 25k. And we do have the YNPC removed, so we can vanish any sort of NPC, which includes like a locked door in the weapon shop, for instance. And then the last thing, no free characters or espers. So I expect we're going to see a lot of people cashing in on that weapon shop because it won't increase our scaling and it will give us a choice of high tier items.
Yeah,
any thoughts on overall flag set, Schwann's?
Yeah, so the huge nerf to magic means we're going to have to rely on the fight command, which, as you alluded to with the no free characters and espers, means we want to go take our free checks as soon as we get them to maybe get one of those potential endgame items for our characters to use. And we can sequence break into stuff. Character abilities are also way more potent than magic in this game, as you mentioned. So if we find someone with sword tech, we can unlock all of the sword techs by doing Cyan's Dream, because we have access to Cyan already. If we find someone with Magitech, we could actually sequence break into the Magitech factory to get the Magitech upgrade. And as you also mentioned, if we find someone with Blitz, we could go do the 1 minute long Duncan cutscene and get Bum Rush right away. So lean heavily on the fight command, lean heavily on enemy abilities, and the items being shuffled and randomized for drops will also be very interesting because runners might be able to find a grind fight that drops like an elemental shield or something really good, and they can sort of catapult themselves for there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just tell our runners that we'll be ready to go. You ran this particular race already, this individual seed. What was your thoughts on how you thought the seed would play out?
I expected offense to be hard to come by for the end game. I definitely was looking at prioritizing free checks. The Coliseum is pretty decent. We can see between 100 and 120 rewards, and so after some initial running around or even later in the seed, I had planned on going there if I was still looking for offense, because with those shuffled random drops, we kind of just accumulate stuff in our inventory, and right before Kefka's Tower is a good time if we aren't confident in our offense to go take a pull in there and see if we can find an upgrade.
Yeah, I totally agree there. We also have the ability to sequence break with the Y NPC set to remove, so we can get the Curse Shield right away. We can also get the Nourish Weapon Shop, choice of 2 high-tier items. We could sequence break into Magitech Factory that I mentioned earlier. We also have access to the Collapsing House's treasures, and the monster in a box is in there. You can just yeet the lady out of the way and go into the Collapsing House in the World of Ruin to Zen. We could also do Edgar's loop of checks, so that one's a little bit less obvious. Well, we start with Edgar anyway, with Capture, and Celeste with Control, and Cyan with Slot. So Slot is probably the only decent ability I saw there, and it's on the character with the worst magic power, so go figure.
Yeah, Control we can use to like really grind out through a grind fight. You know, that might be a little bit beyond us. Celeste and Edgar both have free checks, so that's at least a couple places we can go to get some high tier items. And with Y remove, we also have that weapon shop. Finding some boots is decent. Edgar can equip the best spears, and you know, jumps always work, and that's some of that level dependent in-game offense we might have to rely on.
Yeah, I really like finding some Dragoon boots, especially when I have Edgar. So now I'm looking in the shops for maybe some dragon horns or some spears. Did see some Magus hats here in World of Balance Narsh. I'm surprised that we have runners going to World of Balance Narsh when, you know, as we mentioned, you can spike a reward from World of Ruin Narsh. But there are no shops in World of Ruin Narsh, actually. So we're looking to cash in on some of these early items, get some early things. Jesus the Frog heading on through Returner's Hideout, where there is, you know, 8 or 9 chests in there as well. And it's a lot less annoying with the YNPC removed. You could just take that returner guy out of the way. No, I don't care about your fight. Just get out of my way.
Exactly. And there's definitely some little things, like, for instance, in World of Balance, South Figaro here, normally there's a person in our way that stops us from getting out, like the back entrance of town. But with Y remove on, you know, we can go out that way. And so it can cause little differences. We have Celeste, so I'll bring up like Opera House. Normally we have to talk to the guy and then go hit the switch to unlock the door. But with Y remove, we can just talk to him and then remove the locked door and go up there. So there's like little tiny things that comes with it, but the most fun is the NPCs that normally block us. We can just bamf them out of the way.
Papa Shango taking advantage of the Edgar discount in South Figaro Castle here, or Figaro Castle rather, and you can also get a discount in World of Ruin South Figaro if you have Edgar at the front of your party there. So that is where he is deciding to go shopping. Let's talk about the free checks that we have available to us with these particular characters. We already saw a Force Shield heir to the Figaro throne from both Papa Shango and Juice the Frog will be up there in just a second. We do have the South Figaro prisoner spot, which is one of Celeste's checks, and I'm assuming we're going to get that as part of the looting loop that Papa Shango will be doing. And we also have Mount Zozo, which is one of Cyan's checks that is considered free progression. However, there is a dragon there, and dragon kills do not count towards those number of boss kills for KT Skip, but Sabin is nowhere in sight as of now, so that's not even on the table yet, Fitz.
Correct. So I think at the beginning I definitely routed this one going to World of Ruin Narsh right away, and then a thing I've been thinking about, and I heard Falcon Hit talking about it, and I was like, I should focus on this even more. It's just like trying to minimize airship like flipping about, right? And so if my plan is go to the weapon shop right away, then I'm probably planning on hanging out in the World of Ruin for a bit, including like when I'm starting my checks. However, the Edgar freebie I think did tempt me to flip over, because I still hadn't found what I was kind of looking for. to get off the ground. The Thunder Shield was nice, so like I had that in my back pocket in terms of like I can always break this if I'm like in a real pinch. I'm trying to. Celeste has decent magic power, so I was definitely like trying to get that learned before, but I was ready to break it. See, here's an Aura Lance.
Yeah.
The Genji glove is nice. If we find Terra, we can go get the other one anyway.
Right. Yeah,
And-
so choice between 2 high-tier items there. I would choose the Aura Lance as well, knowing that I have Dragoon Boots and Edgar. So Edgar is almost at endgame level. Curse Shield count at 7, so we're hoping to find either some ribbons or some peace rings to mitigate the bad effects of that Curse Shield. However, with 2 of our characters with pretty terrible abilities, I also wouldn't mind just leaving a Curse Shield on one of them since they're going to be useless in a fight anyway.
Indeed, and this particular relic shop, which I think this is World of Ruin, on Jesus the Frog side, it was loaded. It had earrings, gauntlets, and Atlas armlets. It was pretty much every relic we could be looking for.
And all for half off, too.
And for half off. So it was kind of like, I did kind of make a mental note that I was like, there could be a dragon horn in the relic shop, but it's not the highest chance. And so once I raided this shop, I was kind of like, all right, we're not going in relic shops anymore.
Yeah.
I try to make like a checklist in my mind of like, do I have all this stuff? If yes, then don't go in those shops anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because it takes time. I guess it depends on where you are. Like if I'm into Zen, the relic shop is right there. It's not that far out of the way. However, in a place like Jador or Mobles or Albrook, it's all the way at the other end of the town, right? So I'd rather not walk all the way over there. And we're going to see very shortly what the high-tier weapon reward is in South Figaro Prisoner spot from Jesus the Frog, and it is just a Mario hat. Not really all that helpful.
Yeah,
Second Thunder Shield, wow.
Gotta get a high five here. Like so they're going forwards and backwards through the basement. We'll see what the point of the high five is going to be. Maybe they might miss each other.
They might.
Pixel-wise.
It's going to be right here in the middle. Bloop. There it is, the high five.
Yeah, nice.
So we did spike a ribbon out of one of the chests here in the South Figaro basement. So really nice a relic to have when trying to uncurse the shield. One thing I want to ask you about routing with the no free characters and Esper's flag on, that sort of entices more of the longer checks because you know that they probably won't be dead checks. So would you want to do maybe like an Opera House first in this particular flag set, knowing that it probably won't be a dead check at the end and you're going to get a bunch of levels from the forced rat encounters up in the Opera House?
Yeah, I think in this one in particular, I was trying to remember how I opened. I believe I did end up buying an Esper from Zen, and then I took a fight somewhere, and then I started doing checks from there. I might have started with Doma Castle after I got off of level 3.
Right.
Because like the abilities we have, that's gonna be.
Well, if he gets through this fight, he's gonna. Oh, maybe can you control Tyrannosaur? Go for the capture. Yes, let's try it. So capture actually is way more useful in this flag set than in most normal flag sets, with the drops being shuffled plus 20% random. Unfortunately, it's somehow worse. Wow. Thanks, game.
Yeah, Tyrannosaurs are pretty beefy even at level 3, and just in terms of their hit points. And Cyan, if I'm nice, but this makes it a lot safer. Cyan, if I'm recalling,
easy fight,
had something like 24 magic power, so it's like slots. Like he's got a pair of earrings on too, and like these H bombs are doing,
which is the best
400
other than the Bahamut summon.
However,
Turksman, meanwhile, does find some flame shields here. I saw it before his stream froze, so I know it's there. We do give our runners 3 Moogle Charms, 1 for each party for Kefka Tower, and you could leave them on to avoid those forced encounters, or the random encounters rather, or you could take it off, and Jesus the Frog decided to take it off. It's about the same for Zen Thief in both worlds. I think it was 19,000 in World of Balance and 17 in the World of Ruin. So we'll see if either of our runners pick it up.
Oh,
I'm not sure if Turdsman did or not because his stream cut out. Let's check his tracker. I'm cheating. No, he did not buy it. All right, so Jesus the Frog picking up Kieran there, as you mentioned. So that bumps our scaling up even higher. So our enemies are now going to be 2.5 levels higher than they would be normally. So they're now at level 10 or 11 or 12, kind of, depending upon how the randomization goes. So
they're both in World of Ruins End. So this shop has Super Balls, the item shop, and that definitely changed.
That changes your routing, because with Super Balls, it does a random amount of damage to a random number of targets, spiking the fixed dice from the sequence break there. Papa
I didn't go in here.
Gotta love it. Strength +1 on that Esper is actually pretty decent for Edgar, who's going to be doing the jumpy with the lance.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to what we were talking about with Super Balls. It does a random amount of damage to a random number of targets. So what you normally want to do is use them on a single target, which is usually a boss fight, right? So that tends to skew your routing to, all right, well, normally I want some grind fights and then a boss. With a Super Ball, I want either a boss or what Jesus the Frog is doing here, go and kill a dragon.
Yeah, it's a huge pile of experience. Another pull added item.
He did the 2-take. He remembered, oh yeah, this is on. I don't have to pay the guy for the rust rid.
Yeah, we don't need it.
No WD-40 necessary. Anyway, sorry.
Doors are optional. I think in some practices, I was really aggressive on scaling early, especially with, like, I don't know, these characters kind of have not powerful abilities necessarily, and I got burned. And so even though I had those Super Balls, I was like, I decided not to go for dragons and just keep that around for a boss that I really needed to spike some damage on. I ended up doing about, I think, 400 damage with them when I used them because I got the single bouncy ball.
Yeah, yick.
I was really devastated because I was like, I spent 25k for 400. Like,
you hate to see it happen. However, Papa Shango has got the fixed dice, and all of the members of his party can use it, actually. So we're going to see some roly there. And I don't know how many of our other runners are going to get that, because I don't think any of them sequence broke through to the collapsing house here. And this could be a disaster. White Dragon opening up with a couple of Scar Beams.
Yeah, there was like a pearl in front of that as well. I think they might be able to still get through it, but
yeah,
scary.
That Tyrannosaur fight definitely helped.
Still alive.
Yeah, I would have gone with the capture and then the Super Ball, but I can totally see get me out of this fight. He does it. Yeah, so dragons. Oh wow, Ice Shield. So the Colosseum and Worlds Collide, you get random. So Ice Shields for Magus hats. Definitely want to grab those as well. In Worlds Collide, you get random enemies and random rewards for that. So we give you a menu of what you'll get from what you'll bet. So that's sort of how that goes. And we do, I think, 100 to 125 in this flag set. And yep.
Come back for that. Like, we can get those later.
Yeah. I did not know. I didn't see what the dragon drop was for Jesus the Frog.
It was an Ice Shield, but they got a Pearl Lance as well for their troubles, so.
Right. I mean, we already have the Aura Lance, or at least I think we do. I think everybody does, but that's always nice. Give us a Dragon Horn. Okay.
Genji armor.
No thanks.
Money.
Yep. Alright, so Papa Shango here, I think the first person doing a actual check that isn't considered no free progression.
Correct.
And I guess he does not realize that you could just yeet the door out of the way. So you don't have to do this flicking of the switch. You could just go up to the door.
You could even yeet the guy out of the way on the way. It's like, right? Like, that's interesting. I'm gonna, because they knew they could get in the collapsing house. So that's like a. This one is a sneaky one. I feel good when I remember. Yeah, they're level 5, so we'll see what's here.
Ooh. Oh boy.
Okay,
This
I
could be
remember this.
rough.
I broke a thunder shield to get through this fight.
So those
I don't
little,
have
the little
confidence
red
in
guys are not that big of a deal. That guy,
the
however,
skybase is a problem, but jumping Edgar in the air before attacking was a pretty good play because he's gonna do this twice. I had that force shield on, which helped block these.
yeah.
But I also
this
was
is,
like,
this
ooh,
is,
okay, this is weird.
yeah, this is a reset here.
I think.
Meanwhile, is this even randomized for Jesus the Frog finding leader at Dome
Yeah.
Siege?
I had the exact same thought. This thing only has dooms. Yeah. So yeah, this was a fight.
I heard you
that
like
cracked.
Doom. So I put some Doom under Doom.
I jumped Edgar and then I cracked a thunder shield because this was my like I need to get off like low level fight, and so I just was like immediately like, oh, I gotta do this. I imagine we saved before we walked in here, so
we did get calmness protection from the Dome Siege check with Golem, so our runners will be happy that we have that readily accessible in the seed. And it looks like Jesus the Frog is heading to this nonsense that we see on Papa Shango's screen at the moment.
Yeah, I was sabotaging their go-karts ahead of the
that's
race.
what this is.
A couple of them have their tires are actually made entirely of banana peels, and then I put various small critters in one of their engines as well. So if there's any sort of issue, it's because of my sabotage.
So I took my car to get its oil changed the other day, and the mechanic comes out with my air filter, and it looked like that there was either a mouse or like some other critter in the air filter. It had like a tiny hole dug into it with like a bed and a mattress and a nightstand and everything.
Wow.
And he's like, "Hey, you should probably replace this." So critters in your air filter is no good, my friend.
Yeah, we're seeing another fight with these guys. Bull will get the job done, but that thing has a lot of hit points, and it always 1 or 2 blasters. I don't think always, but it's counters.
Yeah, the smarter thing would be to use control on the sky base and then just hit it with.
Oh, it also has this too. Oh man, did I clench when this happened?
Oh no! Oh no! Jesus, the Frog failed the map test. F's in the chat for that. Yeah, so
this Opera House is it's a nightmare up top. I'm gonna be honest.
Opera House 2 runners 0 so far.
Because the other fight in there is a level magic squad.
Oh god. Yeah, that's gross too. Level magics do not drop any XP; they only drop MP. So why fight them? Question mark.
It's interesting starting with these 3 characters specifically in Y remove, because it takes out a lot of the like logic breaking. Because it's like these 3 characters, yes, I think are the most impacted in terms of we're able to get to some of their checks without them. I remember having that thought when I started, and was like, well, it might as well not be on. And then I was like, nah, it's great. I love it. Like, keep it on. It's fine. Getting a little dueling leader.
All right, so I did not see what was at Edgar's thing chasing.
It was not a character.
Okay. So you can peek this check, which is one of the reasons why you go do it even with, or even if you don't have Edgar, right? Because remember, we mentioned you can sequence break it. It is a peekable check. So if it's something that you need, then you should go do it. We'll see if we decide to go all the way down to the Ancient Castle, because although it's, like I said, almost guaranteed to be progression, there isn't a boss down there. There's only a dragon, which means that it will not count towards our skip. And I just realized I have the dragon on the wrong person. I'm sorry about that. Let's fix that.
I think I ended up doing it because in my head I was like, I haven't found a character yet, and I don't want to have, making 2 trips to the Ancient Castle, you know, like.
Oh yeah, it's the worst.
Going back is just like, so I was just kind of like, I'll do it. Like, I think I felt good enough about my offense that I was like, let's go fight. Let's fight a dragon along the way, because I hadn't done Zozo. Turdsman also about to find out. Everyone is going to the opera. It's very popular.
All right, well, Papa Shango's going back for revenge, but Turdsman here is going to find out about this fight right now. And he's doing what I said you should probably do. Use control on Skybase and just hit him with magic. Because this blaster is just not fun. And the fact that he can do it like multiple times is just ridiculous.
Yeah. I think, yeah, this is where sometimes the force shield is underappreciated.
Yeah.
And it's things like that because blaster is a magic attack. He blastered countered even though he was controlled there, Schwan.
Yeah, that's okay. So I guess my big brain play was not actually big brain.
But it's not the same thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Doom
you can do that. Let's do that.
Nice.
Do that instead. And,
oh
no,
level
Papa Shango gets level 5! Oh my
3.
goodness.
Opera House 3. I mean, so that's still in like a fight here.
So, to me, the Skybase, it kind of looks like, you know, if you took the final boss of Super Mario World, like with Bowser in the little airship, and just put a top on it that wasn't Bowser. So, now we understand why it was the inspiration for Super Mario World there.
Sky Render, Enhancer. We're heading, yeah. I like, you know, you try twice, and a check is mean to you. Try 3 times, then you're super full, right? Like, or sometimes you get through. This is my problem, is I'll be like, I was so close. Like, I can do it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, with these characters, there's so many other options right now. Like, you could do all of Magitech, all of Silent Stream. Oh boy.
At least it was a you know, a quick run. Yeah, put that charm back on.
Yeah, that's another random mob that will kill you in a hurry.
So we saw Tyrannosaur. We're learning why a Skybase should be properly respected and feared.
Yep.
And Papa Shango showing the correct respect for the outsider Madam formation as well.
Alright, so we got, it looks like 2 Espers in Edgar's checks with Unicorn in the one end and Phoenix on the other end. We'll see if Jesus the Frog takes out the dragon there. Strength +2. Throw that on Edgar and you're good to go. Plus, dragons do give a high-tier item drop, so we might see, you know, something like a big beefy sword for Cyan to use, maybe? Or Celeste? We'll have to see how that goes. Turdsman, meanwhile, does make it through the rat gauntlet there. So let's see what's at the end of the Opera House. Okay.
Yeah.
Easy fight. This fight that Papa Shango is doing is super annoying, but thankfully he's got fixed dice and jump in.
Yeah, with physical offense, it's a lot less annoying. This gold dragon, I think I had Berserk at this point, so I just Berserked it, and then it was kind of hitting me a little hard, but we were able to to get
we have at least 2 Thunder Shields, right? So this isn't a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rexel in the vanilla game, he possesses one of your characters, and then you have to get your party member down to critical HP, and then he comes back out. We decided that was a mechanic that would be brutal in Kefka's Tower, specifically, when you only have, like, 1 good party member and 1 bad party member. So we just cut the Zinger part of his battle script out, and it's just a fight against a very high magical defense boss there. So if you don't really have an answer for him, that fight can take a while.
Yeah.
Or if you have untargetable damage, right? Because then you'll hit his little ads, and that will just
and they take forever when they respawn.
Did pick up an Esper there, so Papa Shango heading on to the next spot, number 24. This is Esper item only, and with the no free conversion Berserk. With your no free progression flag on, this is usually an Esper there.
Yeah, we had a Ragnarok for
That was the dragon item.
Dragon there. So I was really happy about that.
All right, so that's Celeste solved, and we've got Edgar solved. Now we just need something for Cyan to do.
I know, that's why those dice were so huge for, I think, for Papa Shango, because like
right, he
for
can
me,
then
Cyan
rotate the dice onto Cyan because Cyan's
do
magic power is yikes.
almost nothing, and then eventually they got front road with like a sky render to hit things. But for me, that was their pinnacle.
All right, so that is an Esper for Turdsman there at the end of the Opera House, the only runner to get through the through the rafters.
Correct.
So let's talk about the logic of the seed, right, Fitz? So this means that our character, so in Worlds Collide, you must be able to complete the seed with 100% access to characters and Espers. So that means our fourth character must be at either the end of the Magitech Factory or the second spot in Cyan's Dream, or at Kefka at Narsh, which is the only uncharacter-gated spot where a character can be. So, cool. Chat, if you would like to make a prediction, Fitz, you can't because you already ran this. But chat, if you'd like to make a prediction as to what character we're going to find and where. I'm going to say that we're going to find... let's make it easy on our runners. Let's give them Skip. Let's give them Sabin at the end of the Magitech Factory. Let's do it. And we'll see how off I am. Jesus the Frog, however, is doing Cyan's Dream, our other 3-part check that we haven't seen yet.
Yep, 3 checks, 2 bosses.
All right, Papa Shango making it through the second part. So very, very good of him to just, dust himself off and just keep going. He's keeping pace in terms of progression with the other runners, in spite of, the pitfalls that he fell into in the Opera House. So that's basically what you have to do, is you have to keep moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Gonna heal up here. I would say... I did end up going to the Dream. I was a little bit worried with it being a double boss. Like, again, like, none of our runners have really, power overwhelming right now.
Right, and you don't want to get stuck in the second part of its multiplayer.
And then, yeah, there's definitely bosses out in the pool that we would get into, like, a long, like, slugfest with.
This being one of them.
And also devastating because it doesn't have elemental shields, probably, right? Like, it's not even like... I had a brief moment of being like, ooh, I'm gonna get some shields, and then like, oh wait, no, I'm not. Like,
oh god. Opening launcher from Inferno, just because. Thanks, man.
Yeah, these goblins were pretty interesting too. Meteor will work. They have really high magic defense and reflect.
Yes. These are nasty fights. You can only really use physical attacks on them unless you have an AoE spell or more or something like that.
Yeah, even the slots are not going to get it done. It's meteor dice. See the dice?
Yeah,
the dice.
Yeah,
so
the dice.
clutch right now.
The dice are clutch.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, are we failing math again?
Woo! Not twice. These poor runners having all these clench and then heartbreak moments. Like, it'd be like, how did it feel to face level 5 Doom 2 to more times before the half-hour mark of your run?
So I think we've uncursed the shield for most of our runners here, which means we get access to the Paladin shield. However, with that remove of top magic, we will not be seeing ultimate in this seed today. Good heads-up play from Papa Shango there to drop a Revivify on an undead enemy and get the fight over with right away. Okay. Fenrir at Dream number 1. As if we didn't have Golem already.
I'll always take more than one, because then it means we can use one on tier 1 to get a little bit more protection from those big old punches.
All right.
Not a character in the dream.
My guess is getting more and more likely here. So at Cyan's Dream, only the second spot can be a character. So the fact that we saw an Imp sprite means we are looking at the end of the Magitech Factory or the Kefka Narsh battle for our 4th character, which is definitely a very linear seed thus far. And we'll see if that will continue into it being further. I find no free progression seeds tend to be a bit more linear than not, because you restrict, obviously, where certain items can and can't go, right? Oh my goodness. Level question Pearl for Turdsman.
Yeah, another like
super unlucky.
That one's even like we just have no idea. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know any runner that is keeping in mind what their last GP digit was when they saved, you know, like,
yeah,
like was it a 1? Like
French vanilla cranes for Papa Shango there. And we'll see what's at the end of the Magitech factory. Will it be a Sabin? Or will it be a Magicite? Or will it be something else? Get ready, folks, because we're about to find out.
Oh, we got a gauntlet jumper with strength +2. So they're like, yeah. Edgar's kind of like, don't touch Edgar. They're fine.
Yeah. All right, let's see who we got. Oh, it's a ghost.
It's a ghost.
Oh no, it's Kefka Norsh.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
You sound so disappointed. You ran this already.
I mean, like, you know, it. In terms of, they're always more appealing, or like a reason to go somewhere else.
Like, oh yeah, for sure. Especially without Terra or Mog, or even Umaro to go peek up what
correct. So like logically, it was just like, and only having 3 characters, because it was, you know.
Yeah.
I've had my times doing Kefka at Narsh with like 2 or like 1 character on a 2-character start, and it's like, here we go again. Well, you know, eventually I got to the, you know, obviously the point where it was like, well, it has to be there, so we're going.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting because not everyone's gotten to the end of the Opera House yet, so we're probably going to see like it'll be interesting to see who goes back there versus, I guess we'll just go to Kefka and Narsh.
Yeah, I think if you're down to Opera House versus K&N, you save, you go peek K&N, and if it's not your character, then you know where it is, right? That's at least what I would do.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, just does not feel good to have Kefka and Narsh. Especially, as you mentioned, with 3 characters, not only are we splitting up our party at Kefka and Narsh to only 2, but we have been fighting this whole seed thus far with only 3 out of possible 4 characters. So fights are taking longer than they should as well.
Yeah. And like, you know, the pieces have started to come together. Like the Ragnarok from the Ancient Castle Dragon was like a nice find for Papa Shango. Dice have been doing work.
Yeah, Jesus the Frog is the one with the Ragnarok. Papa Shango's got the fixed dice, and Kurtzman has probably has levels.
Yeah, and everyone's jumping, right? Like
he's got the same with Papa Shango. I don't know what Jesus the Frog's levels are, but his levels are the same as Papa Shango's, and he's on, you know, less progression, I think it is.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Well, he did make it through Opera House, and that those fights, the one that he won was a big experience one. Like, and Jesus the Frog had that Tyrannosaur fight. So like, I think they're all.
That's right.
In the like, you can't just look at. There's a big hit point Esper that's being on like Celeste and like Cyan, for instance. I think they're around like 21, 23 right now, generally.
Well, I guess the good positive thing for Turdsman is that he did get through Opera House, whereas Papa Shango and Jesus the Frog did not. And that question is looming over their heads. And look where Jesus the Frog, they try and keep pushing you away, but every time I just kept getting pulled back in.
They're 25 and scaling. If I'm looking at their tracker, they have 12, which is 24 plus. They're at level 36 scaling. Am I doing that math right?
24 plus half of 12, so level 30 scaling.
So they're 10 levels under.
5, right? You said they're level 25.
Oh yeah, 5. So like, We know it's piranhas, but they don't. I'd be
Right.
worried about getting what it was at the end, because like,
Well,
we'll be
okay, hold on. You said he's level 25, so
yeah.
You remember what you remember what spell that Skybase has, right?
Level 5 Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about now.
Now they might be planning on running. I mean, like, if I had warp stones, I would be using those. If I had smoke bombs, I would be.
Sure, let's just lose all of my health.
Because everything is gonna hit even worse than the last time that we were here. That's kind of the bad part about putting off something like this, right? And not just like getting through it when we were close. Is that it? Like, these are just gonna be worse.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hope that we get a team fight out of this, because if we see a level 5 Doom again, then we're about to hear it.
Big hit, 1 down, 2 down. That was an AoE blaster.
Yeah, so if Skybase kills the first one, he doesn't have a target.
Level with half. Simon would have lived. He got discorded. He would have lived.
Is that how that works?
Well, because it said level is half, so I assume that means 25 divided by 2 is like, he would either be 12 or 13 at that point.
I've never tested that out before. That is such a weird interaction.
And we'll never know for sure, but I suspect he still would have been alive, but in trouble.
oh, for sure.
Yeah,
so if blaster works the first time, then the second blaster doesn't have a target, so it just hits everybody. Which is why that fight is ridiculously awful, because it can literally end for you in one turn if you're...
Well, the text that pops up for Discord, I might have to like look at the lore in the lore sheets, but it says level is halves, and so if his character level for that fight would have then been 25 divided by 2, which is not going to be divisible by 5 at the end of that. Usually it rounds down.
Oh my god, it does. Discord halves the level of the target rounded up. The effect lasts until the end of battle, and this has an impact on the damage formulas, but can also enable various level-based lures that wouldn't otherwise work. So there you go. He would have survived that level 5 Doom because of the Discord. Wow, that's crazy.
It's like the blue magic Dark Shock from Final Fantasy V. Old is your levels go down over time, which also is bad, but for different reasons. Yeah, it's really weird. So I guess if you were fast enough, you could Discord one of your party members and live through like a level 5 Doom, but you'd have to be very fast to get there.
I don't know if you can target yourself with the lore. I guess you can because of Pearlman, right? I don't know.
That was like a really weird niche combination of things that like
I've never seen that before. Which is
me
one
in
of
the moment racing. I don't think I would have processed that versus me in the booth not having to do anything but watch and yap with you. It's like a lot easier for me to think about other stuff.
Right. Well, I've played a lot of Seeds, and I have never even thought about that before. Which is one of the great things I love about Worlds Collide is it's so dynamic that you can get into different situations all the time.
Does Discord work on like anything?
I think Turdsman I just processed this too. He accidentally flew into a Guardian in the sky.
Correct.
So this Esper is something that none of the other runners might get unless we find a Setzer somewhere later. And it is Odin. Very interesting. Unfortunately, Turdsman, even though he did the Opera House, is going down Edgar's stuff, and this makes sense, right? We still got checks to do that are not Kefket and Arsh. We're going to do those instead.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, I guess it's like the odds, right? Where it's like, there's still, Edgar has 2 character checks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 2 out of 3 chance I find a character doing the underground adventure.
I hate these checks so much. And that's
for
how
me
I lose
personally, I
races.
find 100% of the time that I don't go to Kefka at Narsh in those situations, that it's like there. Now, if I decided to go there, I feel like then, you know, it's not a character. But I guess to your point, if you save at the bottom and then just see it's not a character, you can check it off the list without too much time saved. So I'm gonna just think about peeking that one a little bit more in these situations.
It's not a great peak, to be honest, right? Because it costs what, like 30 or 40 seconds to walk up there.
Yeah.
So it's not really, it's you would only do it, I would only do it if this was me running the scene. I would save Edgar's checks for last, obviously, and at this point I would be like, go peek this first thing, right? This engine room. If it's not a character, reset, go peek Kefka at Narsh. If that's not a character, then I know, okay, process of elimination on the ancient castle, right? So it depends on, because info is important in a randomizer, but so is time, and that's the balance you have to have, right? Is how much time is worth it to get info. And we've got two Ultrases on the screen at the same time.
Indeed, we'd love to see it. They're
Tentacles
swimming
on
in
tentacles.
pasta.
We got some.
There's some
we got
sort
the-
of pasta dragon.
We got the wrong kind of tentacles here on for Papa Shango. All right, so here's where the fixed dice, I think, kind of tails off a bit. Is your Edgar's doing like 4K a pop, and your fixed dice rolls are like for 400. Without an offering, I think this is the point where you say, all right, I think I would like to transition into something else, perhaps. Thankfully, I think Turdsman and Papa Shango are going to kill this dragon, right? And are going to get that Ragnarok for Celeste. So that just means that now Cyan is going to be our fixed dice person. And the interesting thing about the shuffled plus random drops and steals means that this is worth even less than normal, because these monster in a boxes down here probably won't drop your offering for you, even if you find Katana Soul, because the drops are shuffled.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that. I just didn't have anything that could even use an offering. So it was like, why am I going to even look?
Why bother? I get that.
Nor did I have an easy cheese on Katana Soul, and like, we're getting to the point where we're approaching the, like, generally in these flags, we max scaling out before we go to Kefka's Tower pretty easily, especially where we've been on a kind of a character goose chase for a while.
Yeah, well, in these settings, right, 7 characters and 10 espers, all you need to do is get one more dragon to be at max scaling, and we're in Esper go mode now, and Turdsman is just saying, I'm out of here, see you later. So he's going to be missing out on that Ragnarok, which it might be a problem for him later, but he also knows, I'm looking at his tracker, and he knows it's Kefka at Narsh or Cyan's Dream. So if it's me, I go do the first spot in Cyan's Dream, and then I peek the second spot, and yeah, it's going to cost me some time, but then you reset out of it, perhaps. Or you do the opposite way, right, and go peek Kefka at Narsh, and now you know if there's not a character there, it has to be at the Dream.
Yeah, I think my mentality was kind of like, others are going to take this path too. Like, someone is going to go there early and then, you know, probably get a better time. And they're going to win this like week. But, you know, we're trying to get points, right? It's about getting points. And so I wasn't too discouraged, because I was and I'm calling this race, I'm seeing it firsthand, was like, okay. So I just kind of focused on my fundamentals. It's like, make sure I'm like going real fast. I had the jump, I had the Ragnarok, I was like really making an effort to stay out of the menu. So it was like, I kind of was like, what can I control right now? Because I can't find characters. Like, how can I continue to feel like I'm in charge and I'm going fast? And it was like, let's focus on where I can shave time off, because probably like 80% of people that run this one are having a similar experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's the Ragnarok there for Papa Shango. Yeah, so there was a comment in chat about always be killing dragons, and I don't agree with that. I think in this situation here, you're looking for characters. Killing a dragon is just wasting your time now, right? You don't really need the levels, because if you kill a dragon, enemies go up by 2.5 levels, and your characters will only go up by 1 or 2 levels at this high of scaling, right? So it's actually probably more detrimental to kill a dragon than not, unless you really want a high tier item drop or to learn a spell. And in this case, this seed, or this flag set rather, the spells are not worth learning.
Yeah, we're not trying to learn spells. I mean, we might be trying to get levels. Like if I had an Atma user, I'm taking dragon.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Right, like I mean, physical offense. We do have some of us have the Ragnarok user, but again, like, I think we mentioned this at the top, was like with the higher max scaling, just in practice, I'm seeing like I'm usually not worried about levels going into Kefka. Like,
all right, I got the character right. I got the place wrong.
you did get the character right. I
wow,
did know
okay.
that.
So now that means the Kefka Tower skip is in play. And we've got a lot of... Each one of our runners has 8 bosses killed right now. So we're most likely going to be getting Kefka Tower skip, given the linearity thus far of the seed, if we just go do the Phantom Train check. So why don't you tell us a little bit, Fitz, about what checks Sabin opens up, and where do you think...
Oh, man. So there are 5. Papa Shango already broke in to loot 1, and that one cannot give us... That's a free check, right?
Right.
Just double check.
Yes.
So that's not going to give us a character or Esper. In the world... And that's the only World of Ruin check. World of Balance... Oh, yeah, this one. This is what I was talking about. It happens, but I was like... I had prepared for it, like, at least.
Yeah.
Anywho, so... And then we have some instant death, so, like, we can at least get Marshall out, and then the other 2... I think I controlled one of them, even, to, like, calm it down a little bit. But, World of Balance, we've got the Imperial Camp, which after fighting a fight, we can see if that's a character or not. We've got the Phantom Train, which we need to do for our skip, so I did that right away.
Right.
So it was like, might as well.
Get it out of the way, just do it.
That's also like peekable right away in terms of we can see if it's a character reward. The other 2 is the Falls, which is very fast because you just hop in there. And then Mount Colts, which is like a little bit of a walk. It's not that bad though.
No, it's not. Not that bad.
And so,
at least not compared to this level magic fight that Papa Shango is enduring here.
correct.
Jeez.
So in my head, like after I got Sabin or Sabin, pick your poison there. I was like doing Phantom Train. If I get a character, going doing that character checks. If I don't, I think in my head I was like, Barren Falls is right there.
Right.
I'm gonna hop in that, and then I'll go do Mount Colts, because just thinking about minimizing time, like flying around in the airship.
Oh my goodness. This Iron Hitman Skybase fight has just been
MVP, I think, of the seed overall.
Yeah, and the worst part is this is not a character either. Right? Like,
right.
It's just... So, you would do Barren Fall, so I think the biggest question is, if there's not a character at Phantom Train, would you try and peek for a character, or would you just hop into Barren Falls right away, because it is very fast and it is right there?
Oh, what did I do? I actually peeked Imperial Camp first, I think, and then I did Phantom Train.
Yeah, I think, I would do Phantom Train regardless. You're going to do it regardless, right? So, just get out of the way and do it. And you don't need any more Espers, so you might as well do your peekable checks. And it looks like Turdsman is going to be doing his peekable check first, which I think is what you said you did here.
Yeah.
So, as you mentioned, we've got to fight a fight, and then we can see whether or not we have a character here or not. I'm surprised that these hitmen are actually doing a lot of damage. It's pretty gnarly. I didn't realize that they did that much.
Yeah, they get punchy, I think, at higher scaling, because they are like World of Ruin towards the end kind of enemies.
Ooh, Turdsman, choppy. Very nice.
Yeah, we saw an Odin and a Raiden, so when in doubt, chop it.
All right, Jesus the Frog seeing his figure bro, and it's Umaro. Oh no, I didn't see what the reward for Umaro.
I can. It is
pay attention.
Not a character. I had a moment where I was like, "Did I look?" Because I was like, beelining up.
You start panic. You start to panic
like,
here.
Did I look? And the answer was, I did, and there wasn't a character. So even though I went here first and I took this, I also was like, okay, well, we're doing Phantom Train, and then Falls, and then Colts, until I get a character, and then I'll go do their check. Since I had the knowledge that the one Yeti check was not a character. And here's a Yeti fact. I'm gonna read some out while we go. The Yeti is an ape-like creature said to inhibit the Himalayan mountain range, aka Abominable Snowman.
Or Narsh.
Yes. It's
endemic to Narsh.
The largest and fiercest are said to stand around 15 feet tall.
Wow.
There's an 8-foot tall one and a 3 to 5 foot tall variety. So there's multiple Yeti species, I guess.
Sure.
That's it for now. We'll get some more.
A Yeti is also a overly expensive cup. That is that is also true. The cup that soccer moms approve of everywhere. All right, this martial fight giving Jesus the Frog some trouble here because Celeste got hit with that confuse and basically just got bodied by Marshall again.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna get our Sabin, so that is the ultimate goal. And I think we already mentioned that there is no character at Umaro, so Turdsman's gonna have to continue with the Sabin checks, and looks like we got Phantom Train up next here. Papa Shango finally through the Opera House. I think that was his 4th try, maybe? Gets the bad news that his princess is in another castle. Although he's at the same level as Turdsman is. The problem is Turdsman is now so much farther ahead of the other 2 runners because of the fact that he's been down that logic chain that we mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's normally difficult to say who is ahead or behind in a match of Worlds Collide. But, you know, Turdsman already having Esper Go mode. He's just looking for characters here. And there is another one. DJ Khaled with Shadow. But that represents some definite problems, I think. Because Shadow has 5 different checks. One of them is a free check, so we're not going to get a character there. The other one at the Velt Cave is peekable, which is a nice one. However, the other one, which will loom over our runners' heads, is the floating continent. And I can't see a situation where anybody goes there unless they're absolutely forced to, and that would be a miserable time.
Correct. I mean, in my head, I was kind of like, oh, cool. I mean, on the one hand, I was like, I'm going to go get that item. Why not? But I was like, Velt Cave is on the table because that's also a peekable one. So I think I was still committed to finishing out like the Sabin checks, but the one that was on my mind next was Velt Cave, and then it would have to be Floating Continent after that, and if it was going to be there, like, so be it, right? Like,
right. Well, that's the thing too. If that's it, then you're like, well, there was no way I could have done this any faster unless I went straight to the floating continent. Only a lunatic would have done that.
I did like this fight in here. Like,
Oh yeah,
nice pile.
throw
of
some
experience.
revivifies on it. So Turdsman tried to do this with the Nightshades in the Kefka and Arsh fight, and those are not undead. There are.
Yeah, I did that as well.
It's the same. It's the same sprite. It's the same sprite, but a different palette. Those are. That is the undead ones. I forget what the heck they're called. But they turn your characters into zombies, which is never fun. So get rid of them with Revivify real fast.
No ghost dodging on the train today. We can just go straight and mash wire move.
Alright, so interesting development here is Jesus the Frog headed immediately to the Phantom Train and also has Shadow. So he's kind of evened up the score a little bit because we know that there is no character behind Umaro. However, he is still one piece of progression down. So how will that impact his routing? We'll find out after this check. As Papa Shango finally gets Saban.
So another quick Yeti fact.
Oh.
There's a 1959 U.S. Embassy memo that you need a special permit to even begin tracking the Yeti, and you cannot kill a Yeti. That is legal. So I guess when hunting the Yeti, be prepared.
Trap it.
To meet your end. You can trap it, yeah.
Just throw some beef jerky at it, apparently. All right, well, we didn't get a train suplex because we don't have blitz, but we did get a train cut in half, and I think that's almost as good. Question mark?
Yeah, another vanilla boss location.
Yeah, we had leader, and now we've got this. Turn's been going to pick up the free check here because remember, he did not get the Ragnarok from the dragon, and oh baby, spikes and Illumina. Very
It was an
nice.
Illumina. I was pretty excited about that.
Oh, I'm not sure about that purchase there.
I would not have bought the Super Balls either.
Yeah, so Super Balls, as we mentioned earlier, do a Saban can use the Illumina?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
He pretty much came to the party and it was like, here's your job.
Yeah, so it looks like he's got Shadow with Jump with Maneater, Edgar Jump with Aura Lance, and then this thing for my dude Saban. Yeah, so Super Balls, I tend to stop using them after level like 15 because your damage from your characters is going to be way more than what your Super Balls are going to do. So at this level, the Super Ball is really only a break glass in case of emergency, or have your Kefka Tower meat shield throw this at the boss sort of thing.
Yeah. I think I ended up, because there was like a Genji glove that I found along the way, I ended up going with like Celeste dual wielding, because I was happy with Edgar's like jump damage with like the Gauntlet, the Atlas. You know, they're getting up there at this point.
Yeah.
I kind of made Shadow a caster. I don't even think I took like Saban in at that point because I was like, Cyan, you're an alchemist. That's your job. You throw items. You know, that's like what you're gonna do. So I was playing it kind of like I loaded up on one character instead of spreading it around. It was at least good to know, you know. And the tower was like, well, you know, if I get in a pinch, then someone else can use these things. But
Yeah. Plus, having a Paladin shield also helps you in a lot of situations, too. I mean, obviously, there are bosses that will do non-elemental attacks, which the Paladin shield can't help you with, but it basically saves you from a lot of stuff, and the level 5 dooming will continue until morale improves here.
I was
Wow.
so worried.
Alright, so Atma Weapon is the boss here in Barren Falls. And he casts some nasty spells, but he has such low magic power that it's usually not a big deal. It's only a big deal if he does something like a quarter into one of those nasty spells. That's when you can get the trouble.
Alright, wait and see what Atma rewards. I've got another Yeti fact. There's actually fossils that show that prehistoric giant apes did once, in fact, roam Asia. So maybe one fell in the ice and then thawed out later.
There you go.
Running around.
Well, they're in the Himalayas and in Narsh, so
Those are both cold environments.
that's right. All right. Unfortunately, not a character here at Barren Falls.
No.
All right, so we've got Velt Cave, which is peakable. We've got Mount Cults, which is not, and then we have Floating Continent, which is disgusting. So, Turds are making the choice that I would make 10 times out of 10 here. Let's go see what's in the Velt Cave.
I think I ended up doing Mount Colts first because I was like,
You're already
if I
involved
flip
with that.
worlds, peak it, and then I have to flip back again. So I was again kind of routing based on like, let's not switch worlds a bunch. I should just finish what I started here.
Evil Toot
Yeah.
doing Evil Toot things. Thankfully, Cyan was not confused. Otherwise, this would have been a way worse fight. But Phantom Train not playing around. Alright. Shiny Stone at Velt Cave. Going
Yeah.
Mount Cults.
Yeah.
What's Turds gonna do?
So who do we think? Now we got some guessing on.
Oh yeah, we got Mount Cults
Who is
or
it?
Floating Continent. For the sanity of our runners, I will guess Go-Go at Mount Cults.
Go with Colts.
If it's
Another
Floating
net.
Continent, I mean, if it's Floating Continent, I'm just gonna feel bad. Use the Frog heading into Collapsing House. So you can, if this was not a no free progression flag, you could peek this and reset out just like Jesus the Frog did. Since that was always going to be an item, the reset was always going to happen. But at least he's knocking down his peekable checks first, which is definitely the right idea there.
Yeah, that might have been like a shop. They might have been also trying to go to a shop there and forgot that they had.
Forgot that you have. Yeah, that's the worst.
It's like,
The
there's
Ruined
something
Gazette
there.
is now off limit when you have Sabin until you finish the check. Because if you try and leave, it's one of those "but thou must" moments, you know. All right, we're taking the windy corkscrew to Mount Cults.
Final chance, get the guess in. Is it a character? What character?
All right, let's see Go-Go. Watch, it's gonna be Go-Go at Floating Continent 1 because I guess the character right the spot wrong. That's how this has gone for me. And use the Frog with another reset there, seeing the shiny stone on the ground. Yeah, these seeds I absolutely loathe. I understand that most of the runners would be going through the same pain point, and I guess that's like a mutual misery sort of thing, but also, like, I tend to, like it when there are more choices provided to our runners and see what they do and how they do things. So.
Yeah, it was kind of a scrappy time for offense for like the first 35, 40 minutes as well. Like, like I think at this point,
low magic power slots.
The power levels,
A Ragnarok that you would have gotten very late if you didn't do Edgar's checks right away. Right.
Like there was early strength espers too that are gonna make that in-game offense hit a lot harder. So yeah, we will see.
All right, Mount Cults. Flame Eater has been defeated. That is Kefka Tower skip as well for Turdsman. And we do get a character. It is Setzer. So Setzer gives us a free check with Colin Janin. I wonder if Turdsman goes and picks up his free item there. So yeah, that's Kefka Tower skip and final Kefka complete. How's he
Yeah,
doing with
thankfully-
levels? I think he's like high 30s, so I think he'll be okay.
Floating continent was not required.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, for me at this point, I was kind of like, we need to just go. And
Yep. No, I like this. Let's stop and get our free stuff. It'll take us 20 seconds, and who knows what this is. Ugh. Okay. That
Just
does not
eating
solve
your
our
own
problem.
oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Come on. We don't have offering, so it's not like OP, but it is more power than we got.
Yeah, because what else was Shadow doing? Jumping with the Man-Eater? I'd rather have him doing this.
I know I'm upset about this as well.
And don't we have a Genji glove? No, we didn't.
Well, I think there was
Terra, we could have gotten a Genji glove.
There was one along the way because I want to say I turned that one down, but I had one anyway. Some sort of. It wasn't. I don't even think it was a box. Like I think one of the dead check rewards was the Genji.
Oh, there goes the Genji glove. Okay. Yeah, this is a Mega Elixir purchase. Always good to have one of those for Final Kefka, right?
Yeah, especially the best
Juice
healing
the
we're
Frog
gonna have.
didn't remember what he peaked at Yeti or not. Ruh-roh.
I had doubt. I wasn't 100% sure, but I was like, I don't remember there being a thing in the hole. So like,
okay. Well, let's see. We could be wrong.
Like, yeah, that's 100%. Like, I could have been wrong here, and it was,
I don't remember seeing anything when we went up there.
Yeah, these nightshades are
Yes, that's another Esper for him. Not that it matters because we're already at max scaling. So Turdsman into the tower first. 106 and change here. He's going right into skip, I believe. Okay. Yeah. So the nice thing about finding characters late is that they're going to be pretty high level. So they might be actually able to positively contribute to the team. I think that was an economizer from that dragon, which is not helpful.
No. They can definitely like live long enough to like weight trick more and or throw an item.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, I think for this one, yeah, I put my hit team in the middle, which was my like big sword jump squad. Went mid, and then I had Meteor on my other two main party members, so I just split them up. Like, you guys have great equipment in terms of like one of them had a paladin shield, so it was like you'll be fine.
Yeah, one thing you want to remember when taking your parties into Kefka's Tower is you want to be able to deal with like whatever the nastiest set of bosses is that you haven't seen yet. So having non-elemental damage for at least, spread out across your 3 party members is a really good idea.
We got Yeti violence going on right now. I'm gonna have to tell Turdsman after the race they committed a crime. You can't hunt the Yeti, and they are hunting the Yeti.
Well, it's not.
They should have just run buffered, and then the Yeti wouldn't have attacked. They were trying. That was attempted murder. Attempted Yeti murder.
Oh, so you're saying that he brought Yeti into this battle knowingly that he was going to get shut down?
No, I'm saying that he could have just ran and waited for Lady to change, and then the Yeti would have positively contributed to the fight instead of illuminating the Yeti in the face.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna need to clip that, send that to the relevant Worlds Collide authorities.
I know there's a good contingent of Umaro fan club that will be mad about that. We'll be upsetty about the spaghetti. It is an item. Oh, dear Lord. It's not even an Esper that we can use. And, it's a travesty. Jesus, the frog is out of... No.
It hurts.
Uh-oh.
It hurts.
And-
Papa Shango's about to also find out that their character's not here, and
So Turdsman's character got charmed. Thank goodness he already had that, I think, command inputted. Otherwise, that would have been a reset because Edgar just wouldn't be able to attack. So, thank goodness. And Chad goes down.
we're getting towards like the end here. For like our viewers to keep in mind, like obviously first place is worth the most points. But in this class, I think it's the top 8 are points, earn points, and so
that's correct. Top 8
in order to like advance out of the like beginning of the Grand Prix, we need to be on the top of the leaderboard of points. So even like when we see in a sync race the first person being done, it's like, you know, we're still on the track. It's like because there's points up for grabs. So
yep.
We'll try to keep our attention on beyond the winner for this one because it is going to matter for every second matters.
Yeah, as we get closer, we will give everybody the heads up as to what the time to beat is, as it is still, I think, based on how we're going now, within the realm of possibility. But I'm not going to spoil it until we get to that time.
Yeah, for sure.
However, Papa Shango and Jesus the Frog finally making their way towards the right check here.
Now, I think, you know, this is where, like, if one of them is aggressive and just going to the tower right away, you know, they'll have closed some time and are still, like, maybe a couple statue fights behind, but that's also Kefka. We're not that high a level, and we don't have unbeatable things like, you know, like no one's got quick.
Right.
I guess a Genji Glove character could break 10k.
Turret's been putting a sniper sight on for Shadow, which means his Valiant Knife swings will always hit. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is defense ignoring damage, and it is a solution for some of the more difficult bosses we have gone against them. This is, however, not one of them. But Turdsman is again going to be committing
like,
Yeti atrocities.
If the Yeti actually gets their hands on Shadow, they might down them if they're not like well armored. That's what I did.
I think he's got like ninja gear or something awful like that.
In my own fight against the Yeti, where I was like, this fool has a lot of hit points and is punching the absolute crap out of me.
Zink kills a Flame Eater there from Jesus the Frog and Papa Shango, so they're going to be neck and neck heading into Kefka's tower, getting finally their Setzer. They both have more than 12 bosses killed.
Wait, did you see that?
They're
gonna slap her 3,600 damage there.
And that was
so that was before the green cherry. After the green cherry, you know, their power is times 100.
Oh, Revenge of the Yeti!
Yeah, you can't just hit the Yeti with an Illumina and then leave them behind. It's like they got back up and they were like, okay. They beat the boss that's in that spot. Like Magimaster was there. The Yeti came in.
I know what you did to my cousin.
Single-handedly, and then like,
oh, Jesus the Frog in the world of Balance Colingen is not gonna find those Valiant Knives for sale, which are in the world of Ruin Colingen, but he's not checking the shops. He's just getting his free reward, seeing that it's not helpful, and getting the heck out. Yeah, look at Jesus the Frog's levels though compared to the rest of our runners. He's at high 40s, and everyone else is barely scratching 40 or high 30s.
Yeah, they're in an interesting situation of potentially running everyone down from behind by the sake of their level advantage. Like, they spent a little bit of time really like wrecking those fights in the Phantom Train that were high experience, but like I think their math was correct in that it's gonna shave more time off of their final dungeon because of their superior like firepower.
For sure.
Particularly if there's anything thick like a Chatternook. And of course the final Kefka tiers have a lot of hit points to get through. How Shango here showing how you don't hit the Yeti with your Illumina and get into the second stage.
So Turdsman, with a really nice heads-up play here, took Golem into this fight, and he's using Golem for this second phase of Umaro. So Golem will block physical attacks for the HP that is equal to your caster's health. Well, Interceptor has been intercepting a bunch of these too. And he's just been getting straight-up blocks out of some of the other ones.
Yeah.
So nicely done. And Jesus the Frog tells us our last boss, for Turdsman's standpoint, is my least favorite boss in the game.
Yeah, I hate to see this fool. If their opening script lines up correctly, it can be almost a guaranteed wipe, right? Where it's like launcher, shrapnel. It's like, okay, well,
yep, nothing I can do. I'm just dead. Might as well die. Insert old guy meme here. Yeah, there's the launcher and dead. Yeah. No,
they're not they still don't have like a ton of hit points, but we don't have Bolt 3 just to like spike them with like a big shot. So like that fight goes a couple of turns and the numbers are just not in our favor.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I think I broke a shield. I had a Thunder Shield kicking around and I was like, cracked. Like,
yeah, I think the seizure was from using the missile attack on the previous turn. So that attack will inflict the sap or seizure status on your characters. So Cyan took a missile on the previous turn and then just keeled over and died right after the launcher there.
The big shot. Like, I think Celeste needs to do another Bolt 3.
Yeah, this is rough. Because you know, we mentioned before, you could pass that Paladin shield around to everybody, but launcher, missile, shrapnel, they don't really care about your Paladin shield. They are either fractional or non-elemental. It doesn't really matter what equipment you have on. So that makes this fight. Yeah, this is.
With seizure going on too. Those ticks are, I think, only 100 because those are like stamina based.
That's correct.
Right? I like the move to heal it because that would have been that would have been white.
That would have been dead.
Blocking a missile.
Yeah, and it's having 3 attacks is also so impressive.
That Paladin shield putting in some work. I think they'll do it. No, see, they're pretty. Yeah, they have like 18k hit points. I think of the scaling.
Yeah, usually it's very much a glass cannon boss, but as you mentioned, normally we have either Bolt 3 or, you know, higher elemental abilities to take this out. But thank goodness Turdsman is past that. And there is, oh no, a 256 damage super. Oh no!
Yeah.
That is the lowest amount you can get out of one of those.
It's like, I paid so much money for this. And then there was just a VK for a little bit more, you know? Like, it's like, oh.
Yeah. Yep. Alright, so I think that's Turdsman's last boss, am I correct?
Yeah, I believe so. They're doing their last Espering. We know that there's like 1 to 2 instant death Espers out there. There are 2 calmness protection Espers. I didn't have mute in this fight.
Yeah, I don't know if it was on one of the others.
I don't remember on an Esper, and we didn't. I never had
Siren.
No Siren.
So tier 2 is going to be a bit of a slog.
That's going to suck. And then also our best healing is Cure 2 / Mega Elixir, X Potion, Elixirs.
Elemental
I'm normally very aggressive about selling those, but because of the magic nerf, I did not, because I was like, we're gonna need these.
Wow, Papa Shango Cyan is rocking a leather armor and a plumed hat. A plumed hat, rather. So
He's just real casual right now.
Yeah. Showed up for the apocalypse in his business casual.
So we're heading in. Tersman heading into the home stretch here. They've navigated the various banana peels that were strewn throughout the track on this seed. It's not an easy journey to get here. What do you think they're like kind of thinking about coming into this tier 1?
Well, tier 1 is the armor check of Final Kafka. Shadow is going to die a lot, unless he somehow manages not to. Because he has dark gear, so it's not the leather armor that we're rocking.
Crit counter will definitely kill him.
We do have fire too. I don't see any instant death other than the Esper summon, so this actually tier is going to be rougher than usual too, because you're going to have to deal with 3 parts instead of the normal 2.
So yeah, I took Golem, Fenrir, Raiden, and then I don't think for the 4th one I was like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean Unicorn is one of the ones that Turtsman has, which is really good for clearing out train. If you just use it, it will clear everything out. But yeah, not having instant death will make this a bit of a slog. The head is weak to fire, so I mean, it depends. Do you want to attack one?
They are focusing on head. I think head might be down.
So
yeah,
it's dead now.
Kieran would not be a bad one to just cast immediately, and
the problem is you have Shadow with the Valiant Knife, right?
Yeah,
you don't really want him gaining HP all the time.
That's a fair point.
But you've got to really protect him here, and if I was Turdsman here, that balled up fist usually counterattacks every time you attack. I would not even bother attacking with Shadow unless I heal him first. He's definitely going to die.
To their Air Force. Oh no, they're on switches.
Okay. So Papa Shango is not too far behind Turdsman, and he has more Espers to work with, right? So I think he has both Odin and Raiden. So he could use one on one tier and one on another tier.
Yeah, he's still, the Kefka fight is really measured in like tiers, right? And so like being within a tier is anyone's game. And like if one person has some faster offense, which would include taking out like, big stacks of hit points with one summon. Because we don't have Doom or Exum, right? So it's like,
no, we don't.
That's the only way we have it is through Espers, or if we had certain tools,
right?
Which we don't.
We don't have that either. Or if you want to get wild with slots and get Joker Doom.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen anybody pull off in a race.
So yeah, Turdsman is a tier ahead.
Alright.
Which is a decent lead. Edgar is doing an insane amount of damage. So I think they've had because they had strength 2 from the beginning.
And I think he has the gauntlet on one of his characters, whereas Turdsman's gauntlet is on his jumper Edgar, right?
Getting some nice procs. Umaro taking some more. Umaro's putting up, I would say, some Sky-based numbers in terms of downed party numbers.
Yeah, not he's like the silver dot of the sea here. All right, so the Odin summon did connect, but here comes magic, and this is where things start to get wild. Because Edgar is using the jump command, which means he can't attack your own party. Shadow has a Valiant Knife, which means that Sabin is in a lot of trouble. Oh no! 2 frozen, 1 zombie, and 1 confused. Oh no.
That's the worst possible combination of stuff that could have happened, for sure.
All
It's
right.
like,
Well,
I gotta watch and hope.
do you reset here? Oh,
Well, it's like
Saban,
you're.
stop that.
That's a whole tier. Like, it's like we gotta hope that.
Oh,
hit
yes,
hits.
Saban. Yes.
There we go. There we go. We're back in it. We're back in it.
Oh, Saban. Oh, and here comes this, which we'll also thaw out Shadow, but we'll probably also kill him. Okay, maybe not. Oh no.
Oh no. Tiger must be in the like back. They're in the dangerous part of their like hit point range.
Yeah, it's Night of the Living Dead on Turdsman's screen, and
A zombie shadow. Ooh, that would be really bad. That's the worst case scenario. All right.
Yeah,
I think Tiger's down. That's good.
However, Papa Shango up to tier 2 now, so you're absolutely right, Fitz. We've got anybody's race here.
Because if they all went in the same order, that was Air Force down. So like Jesus the Frog is going to be like a tier behind Papa Shango here, and Turdsman pretty quickly. Magic
but
is
remember, he also has a lot more levels than
Magic and Tiger were like, hey, we're gonna get you. They really tried.
You've been hit by a smooth criminal.
But like Turdsman did a good job of like, you know, staying with him, being ready.
Not smashing his controller on his desk.
Like that's maybe a reset point, but it was like, well, let's give it a little bit, see, you know, what happens. The other thing about not muting Magic is like getting a lot of quarters, which is like cool for Shadow, but for everyone else and our like,
not good.
we don't have an AoE healing really, so it's
we
like,
have tier 1 and
Thunder
elemental
Shield?
and elemental spells.
Yeah, we don't like how low. We still have to take hit down probably.
Yeah, so I think we'll move Shadow to the back row once that happens, so that he doesn't die.
Because coming up in the tier 3, Rest likes to cast freaking.
This is just unlucky.
Oh Rest
my god!
loves to
And he's not even dead yet.
cast Murden on their opening turn, and so it's pretty spicy coming up with low HP and not protection.
I think we've got Thunder Shield, 2 Thunder Shields, 1 Paladin Shield, and at least 1 either Fire or Ice Shield. So I think we're good with.
We should be
Murden.
good.
The problem is, like,
Oh my goodness, we're getting pounded.
we can't even do 10. We can't survive 10 hits right now.
Oh. We can't survive
Edgar
one
didn't
hit
survive
right
one
now.
hit. All right. Well, Magic also doing some damage to Papa Shango, just casting Reflect on himself. So that's fun. Thanks there, Magic.
I don't even think we could have learned Dispel. I think that one. No, that one might be in the pool. but I
Yeah,
don't
it's in the pool. Alright, so out comes that Mega Elixir that Turdsman bought for Colin Jin. He wanted to
I
save
like
that
it.
for Final Kefka, but you know what? If you don't get to Final Kefka, you don't get to use it, right?
Correct.
So normally the steal on these is an elixir, but as Jesus the Frog just found out, it's only echo screams today,
That's
which
rough.
is not good. Alright, and hopefully this 10 hits will smack Shadow around a little bit, but not a lot of it. Because we want him to get a little bit lower HP, but not die. Okay,
Yeah, we don't
that's
want to
good.
take all the hits, but he can take a couple more.
Alright. Turdsman is still the first runner out of tier 2, which, you know, we had said Fitz was going to be the problem without.
I'd say he's
Fitz.
lost ground, though. Assuming, because Papa Shango's finishing right now,
Yeah,
This
because this is 10 hits right here.
and Magic is already down for him.
Alright, let's see how Jesus the Frog deals with tier 2.
Oh, I hate the
He's
haste
going
of-
after Magic. He's going after
opening.
Magic first, actually. He says, you know
That's-
what? Tiger is not that big of a deal. Let's go get Magic and
I mean, if you don't
win.
make them angry, they aren't as bad, I suppose.
Right. Alright, W Wind coming in, which is nice for
okay.
Shadow. And Papa Shango creeping up on the heels there. Nice 5k damage though. And that's
Okay.
Girl dead. So we got to take out Girl first, because she will heal and revive the other part of the boss. And then this part of the boss here will use a
Girl
instant death
down.
physical attack when it dies. So we got to heal up our party a little bit here first.
Papa Shango
Golem.
hitting Golem.
Yep. Oof.
That's gonna be a big hit.
Yeah, Turret's been trying to heal his party
Okay, that
up
was
with
like
some
12K.
elemental spells. That's decent HP.
These procs.
The flare one does waste a lot of time though.
That's still a lot of damage. He's in ultimate, or not, he's in media territory now, yeah.
Alright, here comes the train, so now we know Papa Shango's sleep is under 10,000 HP.
Gonna hit him with the shield crack. I like that.
Very nice play. We gotta get through at least 10,000 damage.
Because
Or-
Edgar's got an
no.
Illumina. Edgar doesn't need to see.
Yep.
Celeste does, so we want to take care of that. Probably with Cyan, and Shadow can maybe crack another shield if we have any, but
Alright,
Papa
Papa
Shango's
Sh-
taking the lead.
Yeah, taking the lead with that really nice play. I like that. Meanwhile, Jesus the Frog is hitting his own party with a flame saber and getting the proc to unthaw out his characters.
Love it.
I think somebody memed about that in the chat in our Discord today, and I had never seen anybody do that, but there you go. There's a first time for everything.
It's hitting through the image, even. That was wild, because Celeste's like she's it happened again too. That's wild. That's extra wild. It's probably because if you're like asleep or frozen, you always get hit, right?
Oh, Shadow and Edgar are down here, so does Turdsman pick them back up, or does he keep going for it? Another shield crack on
Oh, he's
Kefka.
gonna try to.
or Papa
he's gonna try
Shango.
to- Oh, because condemned is gonna. Oh yeah, he's gonna try to
Yeah.
heal his way out of it.
Yeah, that is the right play there.
I'm gonna have to recover. I'm gonna turn my back to Papa Shango though. Another proc. They're getting the procs.
Alright, so here comes the Fallen One after the first turn. We'll see what he does here. Because I don't think, like you mentioned, we don't have any AoE healing other than the Mega Elixir if you found it in the shop. Phoenix Summon for Turdsman, let's go!
Oh my goodness, nice. Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Triggers a media.
Oh no!
Uh-uh.
So the Revivify did not heal.
Oh, we've Goner.
Did not reveal him up enough. Alright, so here comes the charge up for Goner, and
What do
we gotta
got?
get at least one of our party members up to full HP to survive this. Otherwise, we're in trouble here. So Papa Shango's gonna tank a Goner here. Two of his characters are gonna survive. Two of them are gonna die.
Oh, he
And
gets
we're gonna
another
have
one
to see
in.
how he recovers. Oh, the proc!
This might be it. So many procs. Oh, very close. This is close enough that I would
You just push on the
Cover.
gas.
like. Oh, I mean, I think it's one hit. I think we're one hit away. It feels one hit to me with Ed.
So then you just swing away with Edgar here, right? Because Celeste has enough HP to tank.
Yeah, pick someone up and swing. Like, I respect the heal. It's just Havoc Wings hurt so bad.
Yeah. So Kefka after Goner will take 2 turns, and it'll be Revenger Havoc Wing or Havoc Wing Havoc Wing. Then you go, and then he takes another 2 turns, and it could be Revenger Havoc Wing or Havoc Wing Havoc Wing. Or I think Train gets sprinkled in there from time to time, and then he goes back into Goner phase. The problem is if you get 2 Havoc Wings, like 2 turns in a row for Kefka, then you're basically your whole party's dead.
We got it. This is it. I'm telling you that hit would have been good. Yeah.
Alright, meanwhile, Jesus the Frog leaps over Turdsman. See what I did there? Who's just having an awful tier 3 after an awful tier 2. And there goes Edgar and Sabin again, and Calmness comes out. So we're going to do it with 2, but Papa Shango does get in first place there with a 1:33.08. So very nice time for him. Get your GGs in chat. Jesus the Frog here is cracking shields, so this fight's not going to last very long either.
No, pushing the pace, which I like, because it's, again, like, those points are... Oh, that's hurts. The points are up for grab.
And that's why the Illuminate is superior to the Ragnarok, folks.
Trying to push Fallen One, which I think he did successfully do.
Yeah, if you do more than 30,000 HP in your first turn, you won't get Fallen One. And here comes the rest of the shields and the rest of the attacks.
Yeah, send it.
Full send. Oh,
Speaking of sending it.
Edgar, you need to go into the batting cage, my friend.
Yeah, get some practice time.
There we go.
There we go.
Of course, he lands the final blow, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it happens. Congratulations to our winner of the race. Even though you were only 1-3, 1-4 against the Opera House tonight. Papa Shango, GG's. I guess he didn't like my insult and will come back.
He needs a second to think about
Yeah, there you go.
today. Hello again. We get the GGs for Jesus the Frog as well. And
Papa Shango, can you hear us?
having a time.
Papa Shango.
Hello.
Hey!
Hi. Sorry about that. I forgot to unmute my mic.
Oh, no, it's no problem. I thought I had insulted you with pointing out your record against...
No, that Opera House. I wanted it. I knew I should have checked Peak Narsh before I went for it for the 4th time, but I just really wanted to beat it.
Yeah, you wanted to show it who was boss. So take us through your strategy, I guess, for these Phantom Forest Railway seeds with the ability to, sequence break and the fact that the dead check or the free checks are going to be item checks instead of reward checks.
So yeah, with the able to sequence break a little bit, I decided it's always nice to go over to do the quick ones, which is the weapon shop, and I went with the Aura Lance, which ended up being a big help for the beginning of the seed.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually I like to do a couple free checks, but with this flag set, with the reward pool being kind of diluted, I don't try to focus on too many of those. But then I was so weak that I started hitting more of them just to see what happened. Luckily spiked that Illumina later. But usually I want to break into M-Tech or Edgar's checks, but we started with Celeste and Edgar, so it wasn't as useful as it usually is in this one. So yeah, that's my strategy, and to do more grind checks than I would in other flag sets because of the weak magic and the tough scaling. So I just kind of want to make sure I stay ahead of it.
This is Loot 2 of your characters in Tier 2 is just awful, or Tier 3 rather.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So we're also joined by Jesus the Frog, who came in not that long after Papa Shango, so GG's to you as well, sir. Same question, what is sort of your strategy with Phantom Forest flag set here?
Give me a lot of credit assuming I have a strategy.
Fair enough. You see Edgar, and you see Cyan, you see Celeste, and you hunt for about, 45 minutes, and find out that your first character is at Captain Marsh. How are you feeling?
I don't want to talk about it.
That's bad.
Yeah, I did literally every check I could, and including Opera 3 times. You're talking about Opera Nuts?
Yeah, Skycap was the MVP.
Gold medal.
Skybase or whatever it was. Yeah.
Skybase, yeah.
Skybase gold medalist. Second place was Umaro, was surprisingly punching people down pretty hard across the board. And that Air Force as well. I mean, how did you feel going into Kefka's Tower, and then like in terms of the bosses in there, like they weren't the easiest, but I feel like they were a little bit maybe sneaky harder than like even I expected when I encountered them on my own attempts.
So they're harder than I expect because everything scales higher in this flag set. So everything's going to be tougher at the high end than I'm prepared for based on my usual Ultra League training. But I actually accidentally sent the wrong character left side. I meant to put Sabin where Edgar left, the other one right, and then Cyan with Celes in the center, because Edgar and Sabin have my Ragnarok and Illumina. But I sent Cyan left, and he had no ability to solo against Air Force, so he just practically had to re-enter Kev's tower. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, at least that fight was fairly quick, and you got to dust yourself off and, and get back in there for sure.
Yeah, the not quick fight was Celes and Cyan center against what was it? They just couldn't deal any damage to forever. Oh yeah, it was Chatternook.
Yeah, there was a couple of rough balls. Even Umaro was handing out L's to people today.
What I should have done was I should have swapped the Illumina onto Celes before fighting the battle, because no matter what it was, it would have gone fast. And with the Illumina on Celes, that would have been a quick battle.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the lack of high-tier magic, we were kind of reliant on sort of the builds that were either fight command or ability facing. And Papa Shango, you went into the collapsing house with Myron Move and spiked a fixed dice out of there that basically anybody could use. So how happy were you about that strategy, and sort of how did you go about trying to fight offense for the rest of the season?
Yeah, that was definitely a nice find. It bailed me out in the beginning with the basically Gauntlet Aura Lance, and then the fixed dice was really all I could do in the beginning. And so I just, I was hoping to find something. I was checking a few more shops than I normally would, kind of checked more chests, just hoping for something. And, with the forced three-party member, Narsh, made me go down and get that Ragnarok out of the ancient castle, and that kind of started things going. And really, it was just rough going. If it wasn't for those fixed dice, I would have had a lot harder time on a few of those fights, especially those statue bosses. It might have been a little slow, but they weren't all that difficult for me. I guess I got lucky with the dice. And then since Setzer could wear the snow muffler, that really helped him help me get through Umaro.
Yeah, so Jesus the Frog, you took on, I think, the most dragons out of all of our runners. Were you also trying to look for some high-tier weapons or power from them, or were you just, hey, I'm here along the way, let's go take them as well?
Partially. So the first dragon, I found Super Balls for sale, so I'm like, gonna buy 2 Super Balls and take a dragon, because that's easy. Hoping for a weapon. Didn't get one there, did get one from the Ancient Castle, of course. But I like killing dragons, especially in a seed which has flags that have 2.5 scaling. It's hard to keep up with scaling. If you just take bosses, you're going to fall behind. You got to hit grinds, you got to hit dragons, something like that. So, yeah, I like taking dragons, big XP boost, maybe a cool weapon, maybe some armor, maybe you get like 2 force shields and a thunder ice shield or whatever I got. But, it could have been really, really good, and the Ragnarok was quite useful.
Yeah, you got that way earlier than our other runners did, for sure. And you got to throw all the shields at Kefka, which is always nice, right?
Yeah, I was really, really happy with the early game in this one. Like, it started out pretty fast. I took all the bosses, I broke rods, I broke shields, I got through fights pretty fast. And then breaking that shield got me the Ragnarok, so that changed my offense over to that, and I was able to just kind of cruise through. The only problem was that I was 3 and 10 at like 45 minutes. I could not find a character anywhere. Had to reset out of like 3 or 4 checks, and then it was rough.
Yeah, I think with a very linear seed like this, being Kefka at Marsh for your 4th character, it's one of those things where almost everybody is going to last locate it, so you just kind of have to just say, well, this seed sucks, but it also sucks for everybody. I'm just going to have to push on and keep going, which, you guys both did, especially with the Opera House disruption, nabbing you both on more than one occasion, for sure.
Yeah, I saw it was level 15 pro in. I was like, well, that's probably fine. And I forgot Skybase cast level 5 Doom. And so I was like, well, I'll come back later. And I came back, and I was level 25. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm high level now. I can just bolt 2 him down before I can get to level 5 Doom. But then he just blasted everyone. So I'm like, you know what? I'll come back later. If I have the ability to just run from all the battles. I would have done it earlier if I had found the smoke bombs in, I think, Narsh. Or at Godman or one of the two. If I had smoke bombs in pocket rather than only 2 warpstones, I would have just smoked on all the way through. Piranhas was trivial. It would have been easy. But yeah, it just did not work out.
Yeah, I think we may have picked up on some like weird, quirky interaction where those little hitmen will do this move called Discord, where your level gets cut in half, and that actually changes if level 5 Doom will hit your character, which is kind of wild. So I don't remember which one of you two had it happen to you, but you had the Discord happen, and then the level 5 Doom came out, and I think you reset before you found out what the what the answer was. But that would have been interesting to see if that interaction played out the way we thought it would, which would have been crazy because I've never seen that before.
I did get my Discord on Shadow, or Silent River was. I did reset because even if it hadn't killed me with level 5 Doom, there's no way he's gonna blaster me. I would do one attack with counter blaster, so I'm like, let's just cut my losses and leave.
Fitz, do you have questions for Papa Shango or Jesus the Frog before we let them go?
I guess do either of you change your approach? I mean, the Ultros League is also kind of like you get points, and it's all about getting those points. Same for this, and I'm curious if you feel the differences between the flag sets. I know you both run those, or how do you go into a winner gets most points, but I'm trying to get points over a 8-week period.
I'd say it doesn't really affect my play. The only thing that's different is in this seed, where I know it's a race. I wasn't going to do flooding content by the time I got Shadow. If it was Tefcon Arch locked and flooding content locked, I'm like, well, then I've already lost this race. So I'm just going to assume it's not. But other than that, I don't really change what I'm doing based on winning a race versus gaining points in a longer term setting.
I try not to do it. I'm still a little bit newer, so I kind of want to just stick with my game. Every time I try to deviate, it seems like I try and get queued, it just costs me. So I just kind of play my game, and hopefully it works out for the best for me. In this sync it did. I haven't checked the room yet to see how I did overall, but just kind of got to plug away and hope it works out.
The true Papa Shango, our recently crowned Moogle Cup champion, the new player mini tournament that we have for time with Scientists are open. So
yeah, all thanks to my great mentor.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say, but yeah, I saw. It was interesting because I was every now and then I'd be like, yeah, I saw some of that, just the mentorship, where I could hear my mentor voice being like, oh yeah, I felt Papa Shango was pretty aggressive once they unlocked it to be I gotta go, it's time to go to the tower. That free check was tempting for me too, of I'll go to Cullingham, and then there were VKs there. I learned too, and I was like, "We'll shoot." That might
there was a VK there, yeah.
I was that might actually been the move.
Oh yeah,
it was in the shop.
Shadow could use it.
Of World of Ruin, yeah.
That would have been nice.
It would have been nice. I don't know how much it would have sped me up with the way my team was, but it certainly would have been nice.
It would have given Cyan something to do.
The Cyan was throwing dice for me.
Cyan was casting Bolt 2, nice too. This is his job the entire seed.
Mage Cyan, always fun.
Not the ideal build for him, for sure. Anyway, so we'll go do this one by one. Papa Shango, any other final thoughts before we let you go here?
No, I just want to thank everyone for putting the restream on and letting me race on it. Been enjoying getting into these races, and these flag sets in the Grand Prix has been a lot of fun. Switching it up from the standard Ultros League. Just been enjoying it, so thank you guys.
Well, thank you for volunteering to run. Can't have the races without the runners, so really appreciate it. And good luck with the rest of the Kefka Grand Prix, and hope to see you climbing up on the leaderboard here. All right, Jesus the Frog, got any other final thoughts about this race or the event in general before we let you go?
No, I think we covered just everything. At the event, I will say it's been a lot of fun. I like the flags. I really enjoy the flag sets that have more aggressive scaling and higher cap, because it really makes you put some thought into late game rather than just by the time you get there, you're probably powerful enough to roll through everything. So that's nice.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you as well for volunteering to race. Can't have the races without the runners. Appreciate it, and we'll hope to see you again on another race soon.
Sure.
All right. Second time is the charm here for Turdsman, finally getting all 4 of his characters up to Final Kefka. So hopefully this won't be the same sort of catastrophe that we saw before.
Yeah, and definitely commends the effort. Like, I think, if they go look back on the tape, a little bit better espering would have helped the cause, but the combination of stuff that happened on, like, Tier 2 in particular, was just like, and they kept it up, and they were like
multiple times,
and they got all the way up, like, to the top, and those can be some of the most, like, heartbreaking Kefka runs too, is what it's like. We keep losing pieces, but we're doing all the right things. Like, all right, now we gotta chip down through like 60k hit points with 2 people, and like they were doing it, but it's real hard when you're working with those kind of margins.
And there you go. There's the unicorn summon that we were talking about earlier. Now let's see how he deals with Fallen 1. Oh, we got the Mega Elixir because we didn't have to use it on Tier 2. Look at that.
Yeah.
So everything is coming up Turdsman here so far in this final fight, as he is, using the Illumina, using that Valiant Knife, and having Celeste with just a ton of HP. Doesn't really need to do that much with her. But yeah, I think part of it was just getting unlucky with the scripts, and then part of it was he's also the lowest level of our 3 runners that made it up to this point too. I think even like 3 or 4 levels will help so much more with pushing that power over the edge here.
Yeah.
So we got Kefka charging for Goner. Celeste is going to do the shield throw, which makes sense, and this should probably be it for Kefka.
It will be now.
And the proc. There we go. And that'll do it.
Nice.
Turdsman GG's in the chat. 151.43 is his final time. We'll see if he wants to hop up in here for a hopefully PG-13 interview. So yeah, so here's the thing about this event, right, Fitz, is that if you forfeit, you also lose out on any MP or magic points you get, which you could use in order to help yourself in the standings on future week races. So good on Turdsman for sticking it out and not forfeiting, because he's going to get some MP, and hopefully he will use it to kill some stuff, kill lots of things. Turdsman coming into the booth. GG's on finishing that one out there, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
So, you know what? I'm not even going to say it because that'll make it feel even worse. But
no, go for it. Hit me. I don't think you can at this point.
You were the first person to find the 4th character and into Kefka's Tower, but just we'll call your Tier 2 a series of unfortunate events.
Well, like I saved. I'm glad I saved the Odin for it. I figured that Tier 2 is always the scary one for me, so I wanted to make sure that I got rid of that bit. But then just like I don't know if I was maybe like just manipulating the situation wrong, or if I just got super unlucky with like the freeze after Sabin getting zombied, and then I was, and then I think Celeste got muddled in that same turn.
That is correct. 2 freeze, 1 zombie, 1 confuse.
Yeah, so
I think the only thing that might have helped, and I think Fitz, you mentioned this when we were watching, Papa Shango go through, is that Tiger doesn't tend to do a lot of the really, really nasty stuff until he gets into lower amounts of HP. So I think the only thing that could have been better was maybe take out Magic first and then go after Tiger. But Tiger will still try and freeze your party. He just won't come out with zombie stuff until later on.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I knew that the zombie bite comes out on I think turn 3 or 4 or something like that. Like the first one is scheduled, but then after that it's just whenever he feels like it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that was unlucky with that. I think the more unlucky part was Magic, countered 3 times with multiple quarters, and they hit multiple party members, and just man, I don't have healing spells. I have Cure the first.
Yeah,
what do I do here?
I was healing with the level 2 elemental spells for most of that final fight, which is not where I want to be. And it's I like to empty my wallet before I go into the final dungeon, just especially in a seed like this where, I had Cure 1 and that was it. But I really wish, because I think there were X potions in Zen. There were X potions floating around somewhere, and I kind of wish that I'd made a note of that instead of just, I saw a Mega Elixir and I was like, yeah, all right, here.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
The Mega Elixir is still helpful, right? Because with the drops and steals being shuffled, you're not guaranteed to get any elixirs from any parts of the final boss or a Mega Elixir from Kefka, right? So you need your healing before you go into that fight. Instead of, with the capture character, you're like, you know what? Maybe I could get some healing during the fight, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah, you can't get those couple of elixirs or even a Mega Elixir from the last one.
So very quickly, tell us a little bit about your strategy for this particular flag set and where you think you did well, and final Kefka fight aside, where we could probably improve here.
I was pretty happy with the whole thing up to that final Kefka fight. With this flag set, since Magic isn't going to be too great going forward, Meteor I think is the strongest battle power spell you can get access to. It's all about either if you don't have good enough commands at the start, then you're going to have to find some decent weapons. So that's why I picked up a bunch of little doo-doo items here and there to see if I couldn't get something out of the Colosseum, but that didn't quite work out either. But then lucked out with that Aura Lance for Edgar, found some Dragoon Boots early, so at least he had something to do. But yeah, with this one in particular, I think not having that default of throw some good magic spells out it really stresses all of the other different avenues. I think what was it, control, capture, and slot Cyan, and Cyan had 25 magic power or something like that.
The dream.
Yeah.
Quite different than the Falcon run that you did commentary for.
Oh yeah.
So Fitz, you have any other questions for Tersman while we have him in the booth?
I don't think so. I mean, we asked everyone about the opera house and the rats that were up in the rafters. I don't think you had as much of a problem as the other two. I think the rats had 5 or 6 W's overall, but when you saw the Sky Base and the Hitman, what was your approach to getting past those?
Well, I remember that Skybase is the problem there. I was a lot happier to see them than more level magic, I guess.
Sure.
If if I can take the silver lining. But I had control, so I thought, okay, this is a good use of that move. So I'll go ahead and control the sky base, and then he won't counter me with blaster, right? And then I learned something after that that he does not give a single care about.
Yeah, I learned that too. I was like,
yeah, it's just like, oh, okay, do it anyway.
Counterattacks don't care about control. Yeah, control's a very weird command.
I also really like how he has special and then Doom 3 times. That's very funny.
Yeah,
but
no dog. I heard you like Doom.
Right, yeah, you Doom and you're Doom when you're dooming. I did like the fight though, and I wanted to try to grab a couple extra after I learned how the first one worked, just because I think it was almost 6,000 experience points at that point, and that was after one check, I think two. I had 2 espers at that point. So, yeah, that scary to see the sky base, but thankfully I had a thing to neutralize it. It's just didn't know about the blaster counter. Otherwise, I probably would have done that first one a little different.
Yeah, so good on you for sticking in there. You will get some magic points to use on some unsuspecting victims in this week's race.
I'm looking forward to rootings.
A lot of fun to see. I may have it on good authority that there might be some extra things going on at the halfway point of the Kefka Grand Prix, so stay tuned for the announcements for that. Ooh. Yeah. And I think that'll do it. Turdsman, you have any other final thoughts before we let you go?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you to SpeedGaming for hosting us, and thank you to you guys for running the dials and the dials back there.
Yeah, this race is a lot of fun to watch, and I'm glad that I did not run this seed. Otherwise, I would be miserable. So thank you, thank you for allowing us to watch the Schadenfreude play out in real time.
Absolutely.
Can't have the races without the runners, so thank you again for volunteering, and we'll catch you next time. All right, Fitz, we got anything else to chat about? Oh, the standings in the race thus far.
Yeah.
So yeah, with Turdsman pulling up the rear so far with a 151.43. There is Stupid Seki Flanders in first with 128.06, and then you are 9 seconds away with 128.15 before we get to our other 2 runners that ran the race tonight, with Jesus the Frog and Papa Shango in 4th and 3rd place. Now, I guess I did that backwards. Only the top 8 places get points, so being in 2nd thus far, you're still in pretty good contention here for points. So was there anything that you did, I guess, differently than what our runners did that you think pulled you ahead time-wise, perhaps?
I think the main things were, I'm just looking at the trackers too to see, was one, I went to Colts faster, and I didn't peak Belt Cave, so there was a time save there, and I don't think I had any elemental shields in the final Kefka fight, so I was very that's how I got through Skybase, was I had my force shield wearing person crack a thunder shield so that they would have the best chance of surviving the blaster.
Yep.
Those are probably the main things. And then, like I said, because at a certain point I was like, this is kind of linear. I really tried to lock in on trying to trim any sort of menuing. I think once I found the Ragnarok and I had the relics I was looking for, I really was like, we're not opening chests anymore. So when I was 310, I was like, I gotta floor it so that I can try to get some points here, because I'm not gonna get it by hitting on a thing that someone else didn't get, which someone's gonna get first by going to Kefka and Narsh earlier, most likely. I would say I'm anticipating at least one racer going there sooner, and maybe coming in on like a 120. But we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the good thing about linear seeds is that it will show you who who made the. It's not about what choices you make, but how well you executed. But or how bad the RNG was in the case of Turdsman. Can't forget about that.
Yeah,
right? So
that's true. And I've been playing because I'm trying to get into the brackets of the free enterprise tournament, and that as a randomizer, because there's less offensive options, it's a lot more like how you execute in battle, and like action economy is kind of a big thing, right? And so I've had a lot of that on my mind, and so I was doing a lot of that during my run too, where it was like these two characters are the only ones that can do any damage. No one else is taking turns. Like, they're gonna wake trick if necessary. They'll pick people up if need be. So I was kind of really locked in on that sort of let my big hitters hit, and marginal damage is not gonna really get me where I need to go.
yeah, for sure. So this was a really fun race between some pretty high-end runners here in our Blackjack card class. If you're interested in playing or want to try out Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, ff6worldscollide.com is the website. There's a link to the Discord on the website in case you want to hop in and chat with some of us to talk about, the game in general, or help setting things up, getting auto trackers and whatnot working. There's a wiki on the website with guides to help you play the game. So definitely come check that out. And Kefka Grand Prix Deluxe, we're in week 4 of 8, so hopefully we'll be on the SpeedGaming channels in the next upcoming weeks with some more great racing action. And I think that'll do it for us. Fitz, you got any other final words?
No, it was a pleasure to call the race. It was fun to call. I feel a lot better. Since I played it too, like now watching others, I was like, okay, it was bad, but
Yep, the suffering will
it wasn't just
continue.
bad for me. So,
Yeah. That was a
we
truly
all survived that one.
horrific logic in that seed. But yeah, thanks everybody for racing who did race. Thank you also, One Free Fits, for volunteering to do commentary with me. Really appreciate that. And we'll be back another time, Speed Gaming. Thank you so much for having us. Catch you later. Peace out.